will be chairing today's session, but I'd like to take a few minutes to review yesterday's fruitful discussion and then go over today's agenda. So this is the daily planning. We'll start every day with daily planning. Before I begin, I'd like to thank our kind and generous host, BMKG, for just a wonderful evening last night at the pool. Yeah, thanks. That was great. Very fruitful. So yesterday was an excellent day. Thank you all very much for your contributions. We learned a lot about BMKG's seasonal predictive capabilities. We looked at the ocean-atmosphere interactions. Chidong walked us through that brilliantly, I thought, very clearly, and it elucidated a lot of activities. I thought it was a very good discussion. Padodo walked us through the sub-seasonal to seasonal forecast in Indonesia. We got a taste of Rama yesterday from Mike, and we'll hear more about Rama today. Safri from the new Coordinating Maritime Ministry. And I was very encouraged by their words. I thought it was sincere, and it was factual, and it was very positive and encouraging for a solid, bright future together. So I was very encouraged by their opening remarks. The Second International Institute for Ocean, the Second International Indian Ocean Expedition, the Maritime Center Program. This is the new program within BMKG that Nellie's heading up using ocean observations. So we're excited to hear about that. From the CPC training last summer at the NOAA CPC. And that will wrap up today's session. Okay. Go visit the regional office. Okay, if you're interested, it's about an hour. It's 10 during afternoon tea. Any questions about
afternoon tea? During is a very short time.
Anyone else, please? Questions, comments?
Last night, and then maybe this morning you also enjoyed the trekking along the beach also. So allow me to share this day 2 program as introduced already. Now we start and would like to invite Pak Sydney for presenting about the NOAA's contribution on Indian Ocean Basin capacity building in APIMA EOA 2. We start now, and please Pak Sydney to start your presentation.
Okay, so Pagi again. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to present NOAA's contributions to Indian Ocean Basin capacity building, and I'll focusing on this morning. Next, please. Partner, we're very excited about Korea's Institute of Ocean Science and Technology joining the Indian Ocean family. They have a new 6,000-ton research vessel, very high capability, called RV Isabu. NOAA's flagship. NOAA has 18 research established with TAO. The Atlantic Ocean is sort of nascent. It's a little bit implemented with Pirata. But the key is, if you look at the Indian Ocean in the Clivar panel met, they designed we sat down and we said, what do you need? What can you contribute? This is what NOAA needs, and this is what NOAA. So this is the cruise track. She'll do Pirata. This is part of the International GOSHIP, GOSHIP program. And this line hasn't been sampled in 25 years. They're supposed to sample it every 10 years. So she'll steam up along the line here. We'll do a port call. She'll steam into Darwin, Australia, and then go through Indonesian seas and up to Guam, where we'll start servicing the Pacific Tau array. And this is the 7 North cruise. And then Japan will do the 7 South cruise. In this program, that's GOSHIP. That's what Ghost Ship stands for. There's a global ocean acidification observing network that these data. Leg 2 is the Rama leg. Darwin, cruise out of Darwin, and up to Guam. Scientists on board these cruises.
YMC. Now we comment, please, on the floor.
In Rama, there will be plan to do or to conduct like conduct the cruise, including what Mike explained previously about wiki jet, something like that. So it seems like there are two activity overlaying the quite similar phenomena. So maybe you can explain the big difference about those two plans, something like that. Thank you. Because it's like station, like very crowded point, and then they want to conduct like a circulation from the east to the west Indian Ocean.
Demonstrate the importance of the Indian Ocean with this 2018 cruise with our premier flagship research vessel.
Thank you. Is the director for research and development of BMKG. Pak Oli, please, for your slide.
Program. You know that BMKG is a host of YMC activity during 2011 to 2019. 2017 to 2019. The in-house direction and then the executive summary and prediction of its local variability and global impact. And the science themes is atmospheric convection, observation, instrument. So BMKG. So at the last workshop in Malaysia, so we list a new proposal. So there are many focus of place here, scientists, WCRP, and the last is there are data here. So we prepare all the data in the one format and at the one server, so everybody can connect to the server to withdraw the radar data by our own SDM, within the capacity to create YMC, data management procedure, and research data policy for YMC. The data which observed during research and radar simulation. The follow-up of the YMC proposal in Malaysia is synchronized of YMC research.
Pretty simple about data collection and archive. The first question is for the data coming from Indonesia, do you have a uniform data format or data from different instruments are stored in different formats? So that's my first question. The second question is, as we discussed at the Malaysia workshop, at that time I remember you mentioned that you want to explore whether you would have enough capacity in your data center.
Format, but we have a standard format comply with WHO. For example, for the radar data, we have an NCBS format, and for daily data, we have XML and CSV format. For storage to for repository. So maybe next November we will be ready to.
We give once again for yeah. From NOAA, please.
Objective actually from US and from NOAA in the program of YMC is to advance understanding the prediction of MGO propagation over the maritime continent. Specifically, we want to understand the mechanism of the maritime continent barrier effect, as I discussed yesterday, and then we want to take on. So the general scientific issue is we want to study the air-sea land interaction, as I discussed yesterday, to understand the role of air-sea interaction in the diurnal cycle and the interseasonal variability. So those are the general scientific issues. The committed plan has been funding already in place. The second part is the proposal already submitted, and we're waiting for the coast of several landmarks. Here is the Philippines, and you can see peaks all along the west coast of landmass. And the reason for that, and you can see there's a very strong large-scale lowland going toward the Philippines and pinch on the topography of the Philippines. And this topography action between large-scale flow coast and then extend a little bit inland, but eventually probably in overland, and to using that to improve our understanding of the diurnal cycle in this area. And it's pending, and we have selected a site there, and I was just told
How it may propagate or not propagate because of the YMC or the MC barrier. We're looking at 2017 to 2019. Get a better understanding on that blocking or barrier. How many cycles do you think you'll observe MJ on? Thank you.
Well, this is an excellent question. Actually, national resource together, because we realize that no single institute, no single country can afford to have a long-term observations in this area for special observations, right? Certain period does not catch the MGO, some others would during this 2-year period. And number two, time. So they can give us the basic, very fundamental information. The field campaign is trying to get a detailed process, right? And the entire MGO cycle using a single platform or single suite of observations collectively with all those observations, we probably can piece that together.
Yeah. Thank you. We have 3 presentations already, and even we started late, but now we have still time. Then we now can break for we continue with the here already in the
Pertama and the participant and the Inafrima cruise, and Mr. Siswanto is chief scientist in Indonesia Prima Cruise. We will explain the program. The program is Indonesian Program Initiative on Maritime Observation and Analysis. We call the event for the sharing and the program during the cruise from the Jakarta to Sabah via Indian Ocean. And second leg is from the Sabang to Jakarta. BMKG and DP is marine meteorology, geophysics, oceanography, and variability, seasonal monsoon variability, intra-seasonal variability, Indian Ocean and Omur, ENSO, and circulation and Jaya 3 from the DPDP. And but from in the 2017 we used the slide 4 population and slide 5 we only Wi-Fi. Two major issues we need to prediction of surface current. This is the nice issue. During the cruise, This NGO active in the Indian Ocean to study how the NGO marine meteorology, marine geophysics survey, and oceanography.
I made this using the data from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center data. It's three Saffir-Simpson category. So meaning that the red one is the more severe cyclone. From this we can see that there is kind of obvious trend. 1961 to 2016. I would like to emphasize that actually the RAMA data from Indian Ocean is very meaningful in this study. SBP, sub-bottom profiler, and also we use bathymetry check during the mooring and position. It's very helped by the study of the topography feature using the SBP and also single dip. And here is the manifestation of the infrastructure ridge. Infrastructure ridge is have the depth of 6,000 features that has been deducted from around the Java Tank, because we have in Java Tank subduction zone, and in the subduction ridge that is 850 away from the Sudan, from south to the north, from the south to the north, and it is kind of like a ridge. Mike has already published one paper in this regard, about the using of this mooring position to study the equatorial undercurrent. Important feature that we would also tell the people is that there is here 90 east. So here we got cruise, and the west or the eastern part of Indian Ocean has been fit in this issue, and having upwelling during dry season. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for you and Indonesia Prima Cruise on that time. Now, I would like to invite floor for some questions. Any comments, please?
That effort now being translated into further analysis, both of the ocean and the atmosphere. And so it was a really outstanding cruise, and I congratulate you on continuing to pursue the investigation of those data.
Our study also measuring about the oceanographic aspect. So what your plan for next year? I mean, that's we are a very interesting to work together to explore the data on the oceanographic items, because that's one of our recent activities. That's
From the last activity, we've got kind of 23 CTD stations. If the same is similar, the season is similar, that may be the fortunate and also the advantage, the benefit if we still continue this activity. That only from one single CTD observation close to the maritime continent region. So I hope and also I wish that something that can helpful for human beings.
It means that actually the question is not only to you but to both presenters. You know, what are the tools available for data rescue and for data management? Because it seems like it is a very rich data set, and it would be a shame to lose or not to share this with the other communities.
Yeah, thank you for your question. Very good question. And in our center itself, we have MIDAS, that is the Marine Integrated Database System, MIDAS. including data assimilation from other instruments as well, not only from the cruise.
It's quite exciting to know that your cruise was covered by an NGO event.
Yeah.
So my question is, how many days you spent during that lag that you experienced the NGO event, and how many total radio sound did you launch during that period of time?
2 times radio sounding launching. So we have in the morning, because usually, that is also.
KG, because the
Yeah, thank you, basically. With my colleagues to observe what kind of response of the ocean when we have the tropical cyclone in the Indian Ocean. One, that it is exactly cross the 8th south mooring site. It was happening in 2008.
Which I have good time, okay.
First of all, I would like to thank to that organizing committee to invite me to present or to share our activity in this workshop. I think this is a very, very good chance for us to share our activity, to know each other, what have been doing and what we are planning to do in that next year or next activity. Contents will start with introduction, and then I will brief about this phenomena. So we have a very challenges about the photographer, or to that even that meteorology or climatology, how that's environmental or ocean in that Indonesian Sea, how that's several aspects, including IOD, Indian Ocean Pool. In the beginning in 2002, as a fisheries degree, so we become an Institute for Marine Research Observation and Transfer Program. The transfer internal wave and big signal in that western part of Indonesia. So we use mostly freely available of remote sensing data from the ocean color data. See data center or Inagus and EPEC, collaborate with other institutions of Indonesia, as I said before, and then strengthening bilateral, regional, international capacity building or development.
Thank you very much, Norman, for so much information for atmospheric community. That is really.
I'm curious about your coastal buoys. Have they been damaged at all by fishermen, even though they're in part supposed to benefit fishermen?
What we think about when we want to deploy our coastal buoy. Right now, all buoy is still on the operation. Actually, when we deploy that buoy, we collaborate because the buoy actually we can see from the coastline.
Still increasing capability for BMKG Ocean Forecast System to developing the drift model. So we need this good chance to how to integrate the radar site imagery with the ocean drift model, because in the ocean drift model we need the input also and validation also. And as you mentioned before, right now BPOL have the 3 area monitoring in the Natuna, Baik Javasi, and Makassar. Is this for
Our collaborations to use that the radar site data to enhance the oil spill. If you have
regarding community outreach and education in local ports. And so I was curious, what tools did you use to educate the local fishermen and the local communities to inform them that this is beneficial and to avoid, these, avoid them from damaging the moorings?
Yeah, because the buoy is actually, we can look from that very easy to see from the coastline. So if something happen or something moving to that buoy, please inform
to that local government. Local government means that's a fisheries office in that district or that area.
The benefits of these moorings to the people.
Yeah, actually before we deploy kind of information, they can have some of that with.
First, on the project for detecting illegal fishing, you mentioned you're using RadarSat data and correlating it with AIS and VMS data. And I was curious if you've also been working with, and I apologize, I don't know which office in KKP, but I know that there are offices in Jakarta that have been getting the infrared VIIRS data and doing similar, and I was wondering if you've tried to combine those. And then the second question is, you mentioned that you're using visual data, optical data from GeoEye, Digital Globe, Iconos, and I was wondering what the and update rate you're using for that, and if it's being used for other purposes as well as the coastal monitoring.
Then what you mentioned about in KKP, in central KKP, we collaborate intensively with the KKP in this term of PSDKP. Yeah, we provided that information in terms of the positioning of fishing boat.
The original name had Southeast Asia in it. So are you working with Southeast Asia, or is it more Indonesian waters now?
Still actually using the SICOM.
Oh, good.
We're still using a SICOM. We still covering Southeast Asia.
I saw your APEC.
Yes, APEC also. Yes, APEC actually since what?
Apply of the data for the fisheries. I wanted to know about there are some model you use to forecast the a primary productivity as a fishing ground. Also, they're also including the wind and except the ocean color data. You also including the wind and I forget another. In that model, do you also involving the shikaran for the predicting the fishing ground, because should be different today and another day, maybe for next week or next day. You also estimating the fish stock as a tuna stock in Indonesian area. Did you validate your model?
NPP, if I'm not wrong, because I'm not working in that more technical. If I'm not wrong, they're using a kind of NEMO, yeah. NEMO.
Want to revisit again the question about coastal buoy and also other data that observational data that belongs to BPOL. What kind of data that is publicly accessible? How can public then access the data? For example, do the data has been ingested into kind of database or portal or something like that? And what comment from Pak Nyoman about many agencies, they have their own data, and when we come, we can come to the implementation of pulling all the data into national portal or something like that.
How we can collaborate all institutions working, collecting data information regarding that oceanography, for example. That's a beginning step. But at least we have the metadata. What kind of data we have? So how long time series data? Who the contact persons? So I hope.
So thanks to all of the participants and to the last session of this morning. Thanks again, and I will give applause for. Now we.
Yang saya lihat dari yang itu tadi maksudnya belum terangkan
several side measurements that were first made from sailing ships and then anemometers on a vessel. There was no cross-calibration of those different kinds of measurements, so you don't want to... And I'll illustrate that in a moment. Okay, so data back. But what comes in real time, for Atlas, it's 6 to 8 hourly, the Iridium data system, which has a much broader coverage and much more instantaneous east. And what's shown here are temperatures, and here is velocity. We had an Atlas mooring you get from the T-Flex mooring. So that's one of the reasons we're switching from this older Atlas technology to newer T-Flex. And we have, in both Rhine and Corrado, we started this transition, transmitting its data to satellite. And if we, first one is, it goes out on the global telecommunications system, available to, and it's within the hours of being collected. So it's very fresh and usable for process that data. We do some quality checks on it to make sure that it's good. And then we put it on our server, which anybody can go to on the World Wide Web, and you can pull it down from our website. We also make it available via anonymous FTP. Usually this route is institutions like this. I think we're providing it to BMKG via anonymous FTP. And these are some of the users that we know of the real-time GTS data stream. Basically, any major weather reported by the zonal currents from the Arabian Sea into the Bay of Bengal of this month. So this is very fresh data. And here are the daily winds. I don't know if this is showing up very well. It doesn't look like it. And now it doesn't really show very well. So that's what's happening basically right this week. And it also uses Iridium. We encourage them to, if they were going to do this, to use Iridium. They were originally thinking about using Argos. We said, don't go there. We go with the, Yeah, I think we're making it available to BMKG via FTP.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, yes.
The data that you showed before, that there is kind of activity in 2013 somehow when there was kind of positive dipole mode. Is there any possibility that there is connection also with the tropical cyclone activity and beyond now?
Yes, I mean, we're in 2008. That's in the Bay of Bengal. There's also been
in Indian Ocean already installed. Do you think that you still need to make 100% the future, or 80% is enough to
start deploying new moorings in the Arabian Sea next year, hopefully around Brown. If NOAA approves that cruise, we're very close. And we hope to have it 100% within the next 2 years.
Has a plan to be changed sometime in the future? For example, if we consider the resolution. That is the question.
Yeah. And we have had now about 12 years of experience with the original design. And we have realized that there are some places that get vandalized too frequently, and it doesn't make sense to keep putting moorings there. There are some places, the one we move forward with.
investigate the exchange process, because it seems like baroclinic circulation seems to drive the exchange process between.
In the sea, sometimes when it got rain, heavy rain especially, the water will dynamically flow. Will it change the measurement, or is there any correction for rain measurement? Because when we measure rain in land, we must straight the vertical to measure rain.
Yeah. You can have a windage effect. It will undercatch in strong winds. And so, but it's unclear how you systematically correct for those things. And so, we don't try to do that. So this is how you're going to make your career. Figure out how to do that.
Okay.
she will present the program of the Indonesia Meteorology Monitoring.
Today, and happy that I can stand in front of you. So I would like title a little, but still the same, almost the same. Agenda is talk about maritime axis, and the second is the current status, and the third one is roadmap. BMKG Marine Meteorology Center. East to west, north to develop and improve our tourist destination, and it will need many infrastructure that we must build on the upcoming years to can connect to all the destination in Indonesia. So we are a location for touristic destination in Indonesia. Or we can go here, Sydney. This is my hometown. Yeah. Based on the national law, national development. Besides that, we also have a regulation of our include sea transportation. That this is like our traditional sector for BMKG. But we also is on web for web information. And I would like we have it for this is a activity that we also we managed to be connect to other agency by the user. So, and for this is for the to support the marine office in Indonesia. We want to have because from next year we want to have a pilot project for our marine office about the type of observation that we need. We think about, we have the information from satellite, we have
sustaining this network of observations, the data themselves, in terms of tools for data rescue, for data access, for sharing data, because there would be a lot of applications, not only within Indonesia, but also across WMO region.
We'll have talk very soon and decide which agency that is responsible for the ourselves has our
excellent presentation. Congratulations on this new endeavor from BMKG for maritime observations. You can absolutely depend on NOAA to provide consultation on as you build up this system. We'd be honored to provide our years of expertise, experience. We've gone down this road, reaching out to stakeholders, defining, observing requirements, and the team build up the ocean observing program within Indonesia BMKG. Absolutely, the answer is yes. We've been together for a long time, so we want to continue to consult with you. You'll hear from Sean in just a minute, but we are very excited about wave measurements from our drifters. We just started that maybe a year ago. We deployed about 50 drifters from the Global Drifter Program. We're getting three-dimensional wave spectra.
For BMKG, we just only have several, not so many, but as maybe you
different number of platforms, and some of them are already in place, and others probably are still in the testing stage. Give you some example, surface glider and drift buoys. Those are platforms are very vulnerable to vandalism.
Yeah.
So what is your plan to go ahead with those platforms and make them resistant, or not 100% proof, but resistant to vandalism?
Water through the extension workers. So we want to have this program also reach the fishermen through the extension workers for the fishermen. So we our observation. So when they found it, we hope that it will reduce the violence.
The thought was to create your own drifter program here within Indonesia. And so this presentation was geared toward branch off and have a whole nother presentation about some of these topics. And I do have additional presentations available. So if at any point you see something of interest, please see me after the presentation and we can talk more about any aspect of whether it be a mooring, a code drifter, or a Davis drifter, the 15-meter drifters, the German options for your own program. And then finally, kind of circle back around and talk about some of the goals that we can look forward to. Quality controlled data for scientific purposes. For drifters. So if you remember, the drogue is centered at 15 meters. So the total length for an offer is just be stationary and become a moored drifter. Open boxes, and that was the idea. We'll have 1,250 drifters, and now we have a global array. Well, as you can imagine, we have a number of different factors, so you can't have a true global array with 1,250. Great, they're repeated. These lines are repeated over and over and over, and there's no deviation. So you have limited reach. You can't get to some of the regions that are of opportunity. Sailing vessels, routes, they change all the time. So you're going to see some of the pleasure yachts and sailboats. And then so that expands your net opportunities. Maybe you'll get once every 3 or 4 years, once a year, getting into regions that otherwise you cannot. So you have to weigh the pros and cons. The more sensors we can add on everything, and the more drifters we can have in the ocean. And so I encourage you to participate. And so really there's 3 ways to do that. If you're purchasing your own
But I think from now on, like you said, we need to expand our collaboration between BMKG and NOAA, and it will. I hope that it will. This different program will be included on our collaboration, and of course, I think you are quite ambitious also for 100. Yeah, deploy 100 drifters. But I think from BMKG side, we are willing to join this drifter program. Maybe start from the number 3 or number 2. Or why not? Thank you.
We're not going to shy away from that goal, and it's something to strive for, right? It doesn't need to happen this year, it doesn't need to happen next year, but as long as we have that goal and we're shooting for that, I think it's
Next with the South Equatorial Current. Have you deployed along the IX-1 line, which goes frequently from Fremantle to I think Java? But I mean,
we don't deploy regularly there, no.
Oh, so because that would be a natural thing to do. I mean, it's run a couple of times a month at least, and it's out of Fremantle.
Yep. So through kind of a reorganization, and so there are some limitations.
How to improve drift model with use the raw data from the drift buoy. And the third one is I saw there are any 3 or 4 drifter manufacturer which recommended to use in Indonesian waters. As we know, the more fresh water and more warm water and shallow water, which recommended to use the drifter buoy.
Put the WMO number, select your parameters, the date that you want, and then go through. So those are the two options as far as real-time versus quality control data. The next question was...
We have drifter buoy to the drifter model.
Okay, so...
We can keep the drifter not drifted away after being deployed, since I think or else it will be kind of piled up according to the current. That's the first question. And then the second one, you show kind of three scheme to purchase package. Is that for one drifter data or for the whole drifter data? Let's say for package 2 or 3.
At your disposal as you start your program. It may be more beneficial for you to do option 1. Maybe you decide that you want to quality control all your own data, and several agencies do, or you say, you know, like I mentioned, right?
You don't have to be specific, but what does a drifter cost without the barometer? What does it cost, you know, with the barometer? What's an approximate annual transmission cost? It might help our BMKG colleagues to get an understanding on the price. Thanks.
On average, I would say around $1,700 per drifter. The barometer is roughly $1,250. And then, as I mentioned, the iridium activation fee is roughly $25. Some iridium bars, value-added retailer, will charge $30, some will charge $25. And then this $475 transmission fee, that's on average. So as the owner. And so basically, we would then transport that number to you from the manufacturer, and then you would then use
I was just going to go talk to you when we want to
Thank you. Okay. Let's go. We'll try to get this done, right? All right, so I'm going to talk today about globalizing. There we go. And the underwater glider fleets. And the purpose here is to improve the ocean observing system. And so that's why I'm here. Okay, let's move on. So what is this IUS thing? IUS is NOAA. So just as Nelly showed, there's this big national effort, but different regions will have different priorities and different pieces of the observing network that will be prioritized. So that's exactly where you take some societal theme and go through the benefits and the science needs all the way down to the observing system elements. So in the old days we started out today, ocean gliders and HF radar are right here in the framework for ocean observing. Yet, when we look at the global ocean observing system and put it up and look at how much percent of it is complete, we see there's a lot of pieces that we've talked about, but there's no gliders and there's no HF radar system. That's a very important activity. We look at here is the global network of observations for a day in May. And as Mike McFadden says, I made a region for the good of everybody. And so we'll be doing that network, the quality control, the data is fused, and it's assimilated into the 3D models. And many people, because you can leverage the support of others. It's also how we leverage those. How we take the subsurface habitat and the surface currents that we have, sure it was always being supplied, and now we have Delaware Bay that's halfway through one of those year analysis periods, so that on any of the NOAA websites, this same data can appear. So now we're on to the gliders, the other technology I wanted to talk about. We've been doing the glider technology since 1998. At Rutgers, the first slope come back after its first dive, just in case it did come back with success. It's So technology, people are going to figure out how to work it. They're going to make it better and better and better. It's the human resources that we have to worry about. So inspire this global network of students along the way. That was the big task he gave us. Fly these gliders along these tracks and do that. And if you figure that out here, if you have one glider, it takes 16 years. We have 2. But we're continuing to do this. And with those 2 gliders, are they getting the same results that we get in the Mid-Atlantic? And we have students that are being trained in glider. There's flags of 9 nations in one school, all Rutgers, but flags of a few nations in there that we hope.
To Indonesia to test.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly.
I'm here for that.
We can bring and test.
The reason I'm questioning this, some area in Indonesia, in case we are going to install this power vision is not really good in some area. So I'm thinking whether it will be possible, let's say by using kind of solar cell or maybe different. Thank you. And yeah, I have.
So it's like a 40-watt light bulb. So probably the peak is 80 watts, so it's less than a 100-watt light bulb. Then you have all the other things that you want to add on, like modems and stuff like that. So maybe you're up to 250 watts. And then if you want the big systems like we show there that are a little cheaper, you want to have the air conditioner, that's probably the biggest thing, so it's like 1,000 watts maybe total.
Later, how many people ideally should be involved? I mean, let's say start from technician and then operator and then let's say analyze.
There's 3 full-time people that are technicians that operate our glider fleet. They are borrowing other people, like the researchers, the students or the professors. So there's a little box on it, and then there's a cross loop in there. So you know those like the old World War II movies where they have the loop?
By BMKG group, now as NOAA participants are doing business meeting and
untuk tahun ke depan. Mas Robi silakan ke sini. Kemudian yang kedua Ibu Mbak Wafri Adeta Sartika tujuan kita dan saya sendiri selaku pendamping Ibu Pida ketika pesantren di sana. Masih sudah digambarkan bagaimana data ramah atau program ramah yang di Indian Ocean itu mengambil datanya bagaimana dan nanti di kita untuk justru di bagian pemanfaatannya. Yang agak unik di sini dia
Agustus sampai dengan awal Desember 2016.
Bisa dipinjam itunya Pak Adi.
Nah ini judul trainingnya ya ini. Nah ini tentang gedungnya tuh Pak Adi lagi dada-dada setelah 4 bulan, setelah 4 kali purnama di gedung ini.
Kalau kita baca papernya para ahli tentang Indonesia, banyak yang membuat dampaknya, bahkan paper terbaru misalkan ada yang mengkaji tentang kondisi. Rencananya kalau memungkinkan ini mau kita jadikan atlas dan seterusnya.
Yang produknya NOAA ini. Dan sebenarnya kemarin kita sudah diajarin tentang yang produk weekly, sehingga saya kira mungkin nanti untuk kandidat calon internasional desk yang sampai 2 mingguan itu sehingga bisa membuat ini juga ada tentang bisa komposit, tidak hanya hujan aja, bisa kompositkan dengan predik aminnya juga. Ini adalah produk dari yang CFS yang dibicarakan tadi.